While the country braces for what officials warn might be the hardest week yet of the coronavirus crisis, one hospital is sharing a bit of hope with a moving new video. Take a look at this video that's going viral on Facebook. Mother of 5, Christina Paz, is sent off with applause from doctors and nurses as she's wheeled toward the hospital doors to be discharged after a 15-day battle with COVID-19. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is considering changing its guidelines for self-isolation to make it easier for those who have been exposed to someone with coronavirus to return to work if they are asymptomatic. The Public Health Agency and the White House are considering an announcement as soon as today. Under the proposed guidance, people who are exposed to someone infected would be allowed back on the job if they are asymptomatic, test their temperature twice a day, and wear a face mask. For most people, the new coronavirus causes mild or moderate symptoms such as fever and cough that clear up in 2 to 3 weeks. For some, especially older adults and people with existing health problems, it can cause more severe illness, including pneumonia and death. Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney and West Fargo City Commission President Bernie Dardis say some people are not following state orders meant to slow the spread of the coronavirus, and they may take further steps, such as closing parts of city parks. While it sounds like a stay-at-home order, both officials say it is not. Mayor Mahoney says he was upset, however, to see 10 people playing basketball last week at a Fargo park. City officials say they want people to enjoy the parks and outdoor areas, but they say they will be monitoring activity to make sure all people are following social distancing guidelines.
Let me be clear. This is not a shelter-in-place order. This is not a mass business closure. This is an order requiring our people to stay smart by staying home whenever possible to stop the spread and to save lives.
West Fargo police say the stay-at-home directive is not something that they will be enforcing. However, Mayor Mahoney and Fargo police say if a group doesn't disperse after a verbal warning, they could wind up facing up to a $1,000 fine. In North Dakota, the number of positive cases has now reached 237. Over 7,700 people have been tested in the state. There are 18 patients currently in the hospital, and there have been 4 deaths. Cass County has the most positive cases in the state with 70. Meanwhile, Minnesota has over 1,000 positive coronavirus cases. An additional 83 cases were confirmed yesterday. Another 4 people have died from the virus, bringing the state total to 34. All 4 of those deaths were from people at long-term care facilities. Of the 120 patients currently hospitalized, there are 64 people in the ICU. 549 patients no longer need to be isolated, and Minnesotans could expect the state's stay-at-home order to be extended today. Governor Tim Walz hinted to reporters that the order will likely stay in place, but hopefully with fewer restrictions, so more people can get back to work without compromising anyone's safety. He also added that he will likely be working on giving people an update and giving them a progress report in the coming weeks. Anyone who had exhausted their Netflix library and was maybe looking for something to binge watch while cooped up during this COVID-19 pandemic needed only to look up in the sky last night and bask in the glory of the super pink moon. Take a look at some of these pictures. If you didn't get a chance to see it yourself, we have some pictures from our viewers, like this one from Carol Cascalado. According to Earth Sky, the pink moon, or April full moon, is the closest supermoon of the year, which means that it looks extra big and bright, up to 14% bigger and 30% brighter from the regular moon that we see. Desiree Siegel, another viewer, sent in some pictures. She said the moon didn't really look pink to her, but you know what? The moon isn't called pink moon because of its color, but because it corresponds with the early blooms of a pink wildflower called phlox. Let's get a check now of our First Alert Storm Team forecast with meteorologist Lisa Green. Did you get a chance to enjoy the pink moon?
Yes, and you still can in a good portion of the valley. It is getting ready to set. Kind of tough to make out right now here in Fargo as we're looking off to the west on our First Alert Storm Team Skycam, but you can see it right here. It's kind of obscured by some of those clouds that are affecting the southern end of the valley, but a little farther north you're probably getting a better view. But this is getting ready to set on the western horizon, and you may have already noticed we've got a gorgeous sunrise on the eastern horizon this morning. So starting off today with some nice views here this morning. And so right now we're looking at temperatures into the 30s at the moment, most of us above above freezing. Devil's Lake's at 32 right now. We're at 33 in Bemidji. Fargo's at 39 and Grand Forks at 34 degrees. So not a bad base to start from. The difference is today we won't warm up as much as we've seen recently. There's a cold front coming our way. So most of us seeing some clear skies, but I mentioned those clouds in the south. You can see them here as some precipitation moves through right along the state line and south from there. So it is skirting some of our viewers in that far southern part of our viewing area. The rest of us looking pretty quiet. Our wind speeds are already starting to increase. We're seeing a couple of places into the 20s, a gust to 24 in Langdon. We have that wind advisory that takes effect at noon today, and that's for gusts that get into the 40s and 50s, especially in our western viewing area, though it will be breezy everywhere, windy everywhere for us here for today. So here's a look at that hourly planner. Expect some sunshine this morning. As we head further into the day, we'll see temperatures into the mid-40s and increasing chances with these winds. These are steady speeds here out of the northwest. With them come that chance for some precipitation, rain, and then snow. So it's going to get a little bit unpleasant as we head into the second half of the day today. So be ready for that. And now for a look at traffic, here's Devin Fry with the Valley Today's traffic on the move.
Thanks, Lisa. We are turning on to I-94 right now to finish up our morning drive. We're going to be heading east toward Minnesota. Now, overall, the traffic flow has really been maintaining the same status quo that we've had for the past few weeks. Things have been lighter since the pandemic set in. A lot of businesses are closed down, schools aren't open, so the traffic flows have been a little bit lighter. Now, there are some areas that have been getting a little bit busier this morning. I've noticed it around that 13th Avenue area on I-29, whereas here on I-94, it tends to be around the University Drive area. So those are really the only spots where things are getting a little bit busier, but overall, nothing that's really going to be affecting your morning commute. We're going to keep checking out the roadways in the next hour on the Fargo CW, but for now, for your traffic on the move, I'm Devin Fry.
It's now 4 minutes before 7. New this morning, the Bemidji Police Department wants your help finding a missing 15-year-old. Larissa Feather was last seen on April 1st. Feather is described as 5'5", 165 pounds with brown eyes and dark hair. She was last seen wearing a black shirt, black jeans, and black Nike tennis shoes. Authorities believe Feather may now be in the Mille Lacs, Minnesota area. Officers did not provide us with a picture. U.S. Postal Service officials confirmed to Valley News Live that 2 workers in Fargo have tested positive for coronavirus. The Postal Service says it's followed the guidance of the CDC and the North Dakota Department of Health and believes the exposure risk to other employees and the public is minimal. Due to federal law, USPS says it cannot provide any more information. The CDC, the World Health Organization, and the Surgeon General have all indicated there is currently no evidence that COVID-19 is being spread through the mail. Lake Region Hospital wants staff to feel protected while they continue to fight the coronavirus. And with a shortage of personal protective equipment, the community is now stepping up to help. Valley Today's Abby Furchner joins us live this morning, telling us more about what some companies are doing. Good morning, Abby.
Good morning, Lisa. I'm here with Dr. Josh Overgaard with Lake Region Hospital. And Dr. Overgaard, I first want to start with what other shortages are you seeing or are preparing for as we continue to fight COVID-19?
Sure. Hi, Abby. You've talked to Joe, our supply chain person, this morning, and he and I have been working really closely just to try to anticipate what we might be seeing. One of the challenges with this situation is that we're going to have hospital volumes that are, many, many times our usual level. And it's hard to imagine all the things that we might run out of that are normally not even a concern. I mean, I think about just silly little things like tape or gauze or tourniquets or who knows what. But really the big things that are on my mind are people, for one, because staffing to that level, obviously, we're not prepared for. And secondly, ventilators. But PPE is going to continue to be on our mind. As you've heard about, we've got these local folks that have done a great job of coming together and figuring out ways to improve our supply. But that'll always be a concern, just with the speed at which we can burn through this in the situation that we're looking at.
Right, and really quickly, how does it feel to have this community behind you?
Two things, I guess. One, it fills me with a really overwhelming sense of pride that I live in this place where people have the wherewithal and skill to do that, and they saw the opportunity to be helpful. I think that says a lot about who they are and how their minds work. But also
Right.
it's touching that they have that level of concern for us, that they would take their
Yeah.
time and money and invest it in this and in us and our health.
It's so great to see communities come together during this time. Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Abby. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question: over half of people say that they were happier when they cut this out of their life. The answer? Social media. You don't need to look at that highlight reel of other people's lives. We want to thank you for tuning in to the Valley today. We want to reassure you that we are working hard to make sure you are staying informed during this COVID-19 pandemic. There are several ways you can do that, including our valleynewslive.com website, our VNL News app, and by checking out our Valley News Live Facebook page. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on the Fargo CW. We're going to leave you today with one more look at that beautiful sunrise. Have a great day, everyone.